I'm happy to be joined by a special guest today on Primetime Local News from the Stingray family at 840 CFCW. Jackie Ray is here. Jackie is the program director there. Jackie, thank you for joining me.
Hey, looking forward to this, Stacey. Thanks for having me on.
Well, let's talk about the book that has been published, The Story of 840 CFCW. Now, this marks 70 years as a radio station. First of all, let's just talk about that, the legacy of CFCW. That's just incredible on its own.
It is remarkable because there's not many radio stations that have stayed true to what they were from the get-go. And CFCW is that started in Camrose, Alberta, just a small 250-watt station. And at the time, they were the only station outside of just Edmonton and Calgary, out of the big cities. They were the first people that took the gamble that rural Alberta wanted to have their own radio station as well.
Now, obviously, over that amount of time, there's a lot of stories. Anybody who's worked in broadcasting knows that probably there's a lot that couldn't be put in the book. But let's talk about what's in the book, Jackie. I understand that the author talked to, you said, around 50 people for contributions to the book.
Yeah, 50 people, some that were there. As probably the earliest would be Warren Holt, who was one of the ones that decided to, in 1960, CFCW, they made the decision to go full-time country. Because at the time, if you remember in the 50s and before that, radio would play a little bit of everything. You'd hear a classical music hour or a country hour, or rock and roll was starting to be big in the 50s. So you wouldn't have a station that just played country music. But they found that their country hour was the one that they could sell easily to advertisers. And they were getting kicked in the butt by the city stations. So that's when they thought, let's go full-time country, which they did in 1960, the first station in Canada to do it. And we're still doing it today.
You have contributed some stories to the book as well, Jackie. You have had an immense number of experiences in your time there. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the things that you have in the book without giving too much away?
Well, it's funny with Joanne. She interviewed. It was kind of. I went to her 5 years ago and said, I ain't going to be around here forever, and I need us to make sure that our history is captured. So there's definitely some stories, and I worked with Wes Montgomery, so I could have told. And he used to work in Lloydminster back in the day. He actually worked on your television station as a sports guy, but he was my morning guy. So I tell some definitely big time Wes Montgomery stories, and we start back at the beginning in the book, and all the characters that have come through our door. Daddy Hooper was our morning guy for 7 years. Oh my goodness, how we still have our radio license is incredible. So it just tells some of the characters that we've had, but also why today we still have such a connection with our audience.
Now, some of the proceeds from this book go to charity as well. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, just over 20 years ago at CFCW, we started what is called the Little Miracles Trust Fund. And it is a charity that if suddenly the morning team, let's say, gets a call and there's someone in need or child, and we can fill that gap really quickly because we're all here. We can mobilize this fund to help out kids in needs, or even we've done seniors in needs, whatever, whenever a little miracle is needed, we can do it. For example, we also did with a lot of people on the Alberta Day for Caring that all the stations got involved in for the wildfire for Red Cross. We were able to make a donation to that right away. So we help a variety of causes and people right here in our province.
Jackie, if anybody is interested in purchasing this book, where is the best place to get it?
Well, if you're anywhere near CFCW, pop into our stations either in Camrose or at West Edmonton Mall. We've got them for sale, $30. And as we said, proceeds to Little Miracles. Or you can just go right to Amazon and just Google this guy. Just Google CFCW, the story of CFCW, and you can get them on Amazon and it'll come right to your door.
Awesome, Jackie. I'm so looking forward to reading this and seeing, hearing the stories of this legacy station. Again, it's been around for so long. And thank you for your contributions and thank you for speaking with me today.
Thank you. Here's to another 70. Woo!
Here's hoping.